Welcome, my fellow Virgos, to our January 2026 tarot reading. Virgo, I want to say this clearly. This is something I picked up was pre-shuffling. Nothing about you is too much. January is going to reveal who and what is finally able to meet you where you are without shrinking or over functioning. So that felt like an important message, probably for many. But again, I was meant to say it clearly, nothing about you is too much. Remember that. And this is about people meeting you where you are. So this month we are going to break the readings up into love and money. And I am going to start with love first. And I feel like let's just get right into it. So this is for Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising. Many of you are intuitively guided, or you may be in love with the Virgo. You know, whatever brought you, welcome. And have a feeling if you clicked on the video, you were meant to. So we'll see. Let me know. All right, I'm going to go ahead and bring the lid down. Put our crystals over there. So for love, we will be using the Romance Angels. Mother Mary will open up our reading. The Universal Tarot will be the main spread, and then Crystal Vision for going deeper. So, Virgo, let's open this up. Mother Mary, for my beautiful Virgos. Okay. That wanted to come out. See if anything else wants to come out. Okay. Well, what else do we need? Miracle. How beautiful. Miracle. I trust in God to know the perfect solution to this situation. I have a feeling there are going to be prayers answered and it's going to feel like a miracle. But you know, I believe that miracles are earned. You know what I mean? Like, especially what I was receiving from Spirit, like allowing people to meet you where you are at. And I know many of you are on a much higher vibration. Um, you've been doing that work in 2025. And I have to tell you, it has been showing up in the readings. It's like I couldn't be prouder. But miracle. Let's take it. We accept it. I'll accept it for you. I'm going to put that right there. Let's give it a crystal. Miracle. Love it. What a way to open up your reading. All right. So we're going to use the Universal Tarot for love. So the readings are a little longer for January, but that is because I want to really give you a lot of detail, both in love and in your money and career, you know, or your creative projects. Okay. So let me calm my mind down for a second. All right. Let's begin. I don't know why, but I have goosebumps already. That's a good sign. That is a good sign. We have the High Priestess, your intuition, your GPS in this lifetime. You can also say your higher self, like higher wisdom. I know many of you are in tune with your intuition now. I just know it. Look at that, the tower, but it just flipped itself around. Thank you very much. So, some way, somehow, we're avoiding a tower, but it's like your intuition gives you a sign that there's a tower, or something could be potentially a tower, but your intuition picks it up. So therefore, it doesn't happen. Wow. Get it? Wow. Already I'm like, wow, wow. All right, we have the King of Wands. King of Wands can be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Um, but this king came in the upright, and that means this king has passion, desire. This is someone who, in love, would definitely show you. You definitely feel it. You know what I mean? Like they carry a lot of passion in their heart. And probably for you, it's interesting because this king is looking back at the tower. Oh my gosh. And then, hello, Ace of Cups. So, how quickly? So, it's like you and this king are both looking at this tower. It's almost, I feel like for some, if you're in a relationship, it feels like it's saving a relationship. Um, and your intuition being a big part of that. Hmm. Now, if this is new love, same thing. It's like you definitely want to trust your intuition. It is not leading you wrong. It is, it almost feels like saving you. All right. Interesting. We just got the Nine of Cups. Wow. Inner fulfillment and fulfillment of wishes. And then Mother Mary sends us miracles. This is mirroring your intuition. For some of you, it can be singular energy, but you don't really have a problem with it in the Nine of Cups. And it doesn't mean everything in your life is going perfectly. You have found this inner harmony. You are now able to avoid these towers. It's like you see them before they come. Why? Because I feel that you feel pretty balanced. Like, I feel that you, let's say at least, and I just realized Ace of Cups is a one, January is the beginning of this, what's going to be a beautiful year one. I just know it. I can tell by the readings. Like, I see vibrations lifting through the readings. How beautiful. So, nine can mean singular. But it is sitting right next to the Ace of Cups. You add that Ace of Cups to the Nine of Cups, we have the Ten of Cups. So potentially, well, hello, Destiny. Virgo. Hello, Destiny. So this love, it's not any old love. It's not free will. I mean, it is your choice. That's free will. But this love, it's like written in the stars. It's like already done. That's what I just heard. It's already done. Doesn't mean you met them yet, but in the spiritual world, it's already done. Interesting. The Ace of Swords. Truth, integrity. Interesting that it's coming under the reversal of the Tower. And I have to say, if you were dealing with anyone, just like what Spirit gave me, There's nothing about you that is too much. Someone may have made you feel that way through their words. But this is you not accepting that. You know your truth. You know your truth. By the way, another one, 1111, make a wish. Two aces already. And the wheel. Well, really, everything. Everything. But it all starts with your intuition. And what is destined? You know, I just heard like not any old person will do for Virgo. It has to be someone special. It definitely has to be someone that you can trust. And I feel like for some, what Spirit is saying is it's going to come through conversation. Like there's going to be some type of truth. And when I say truth, what I really mean like a spiritual truth. Like you're just going to know. And I do want to say for existing relationships, I do feel like this king, like I'm calling you the high priestess right now. But if you're a male, like you just put yourself wherever you fit, really. But I feel like this king is also noticing that the tower is in reverse. So I just get this feeling that um like if a relationship has been difficult, and I don't mean the type of relationship of disrespect, on again, off again, treated you badly type of thing. Well, it's not that people can't evolve. I mean, we evolve, so they can too. But let's just put it that way. I feel like there is someone who wants to make a relationship work, and it may come through communication, like honest communication. We need to talk. We need to talk. Now, for others, I feel like this is new love because I feel like what you did, you first of all, you're avoiding this tower. But I feel for some, because nine to me is singular, so some may have set yourself free from an old relationship. And even though the Ace of Cups is here, well, I kind of feel like it's going to be a surprise. Let's see. Let's keep going. Um, I do know one thing. Well, I know because my guides are telling me that this love, this person, has a good faith system. You know what I mean? Like they could be a man or a woman of God. Um, but it's not really about religion. It's more about, I'm sure that's part of it, but it's their faith. And I feel like what Spirit's saying is this is a type of energy where they themselves are in higher vibrational energy. They themselves have done a lot of clearing. They kept hope alive. And I feel like this king isn't looking for just anyone. I mean, I feel like he's looking for you. But I feel like, not everyone, but many of you just don't know it yet. And I don't know that when I say he's looking for you, if it's like I feel like this king is feeling guided. Let's put it that way. But I feel he has put intentions out of looking for that special partner, that special one. It is like he is answering the call of destiny. He hears it, he feels it. Five of Swords. Change. The first thing you want to think about when you see a five is asking for some type of change. You can see here, someone is walking away from, could be a group of people, could be family. It's energy that has become toxic to you, kind of gotten in your way. I often feel this is like bad communication. And it's interesting, it's coming next to the Ace of Swords, so I have a feeling not just bad communication, but chances are someone in there who maybe had a hard time telling the truth. Interesting. Again, it brings me back to the statement Spirit said, nothing about you is too much. Nothing. And January, revealing who and what is finally able to meet you where you are at without you shrinking. I feel like for many of you, because I know many of you have done, for lack of a better word, shadow work. And to me, that means I'm getting to know all parts of myself. I have to know the shadow part, right? I can give it a name. Sandy number 2. You know what I mean? Um, because sometimes we get pulled into this energy also. I mean, we are human and, we can get pulled into it. But I have a feeling that change has already happened. Probably in 2025, sitting right next to the 1. All right, let's keep going. Coming under this king, we have the 9 of Wands. So this is about reflection. Interesting. It makes me wonder, for some of you, if this king, when I was talking about relationships having the potential to be saved, so to speak, this 9 of Wands sitting next to the 5 of Swords means that, if this is not you reflecting, which I feel like you have, let me talk a little more about the 9 of Wands because this is my spirit warrior. This is someone who, and this is what 2025 was all about, reflection, right? Understanding where we've been and who we are now because of it. Every wand behind this person is something they've overcome, an adventure they've taken, but you are looking back. And by the way, if you look at the image, this person is busting out of their clothes. That is their spiritual muscles. That is their spiritual growth. And what you're saying in this energy is really, look at how much I have grown. Now, feel like what you're doing, or another, is evaluating love. How love has been, my part in it. Again, we want to know all parts of ourselves. But for some, I feel like it's the king who may have been in this reflection and may want to talk. And, here you are, whether you have it yet or not, your intuition is leading you to this 9 of Cups. Again, inner harmony. And your intuition is helping you to avoid a tower. That, I feel, also is the communication between two, where one has now realized their actions. But I feel both have done the reflection over love. All right. And we have these two nines. It's like here you are, sitting happy, and there feels like there's someone else here knowing. That's what I feel like. I feel like someone knows if they want to be with you, they must be a certain way, right? There must be certain actions they have to change. But let's say you don't know who this is yet, then it is you who has reflected over love, understanding it. And what I feel also is because I've done this reflection, it really takes the fear out of it. A lot of people are afraid to fall in love. I mean, I get it, right? We don't want our heart broken. But sometimes, I say this often, but there are levels of love. And each one I feel like is a stepping stone to the higher vibrational love. And as my vibration lifts, well, then so what must meet me? Whoa. All right, Three of Wands, optimism, present moment. And it is mirroring your will, your destiny. I love the Three of Wands because this is where you are letting it go, not hanging on to anything. This is where you were saying to Divine, I know that my blessings will come in, and I know they'll come in the right time. In the meantime, I'm just going to live my life. I'm going to live in the present moment, which is important. This is when your signs are set in the present moment. This is you really trusting your intuition. I feel like for some of you, this is you about to go on an adventure. All right, wow. Hello, Knight of Pentacles. So, guardian angel energy. And I love that in love. You know why? Because I feel like there is someone, part of our spiritual team, who, let's say, specializes in love. And when it comes to like your money and career, I feel like they step aside and they allow the spirit guide, who is their expertise, is, let's say, money and creativity. So the Knight of Pentacles tells you, I come at the right time. It is an energy that asks for patience, but the patience is so that things can develop, or as you lift your vibration, whatever the Knight is bringing in. By the way, it is a pentacle, and this Knight, this pentacle, is truly meant to enhance your life. And that's why it comes in at the right time. Let's say that tower wasn't reversed. Well, that might not be the right time. And I feel like whatever that tower may mean, I feel like it was an important component. Probably really so you could feel your own power. So, Knight of Pentacles brings in this pentacle. Means it's coming into your physical world. It's tangible, touchable, potentially kissable. And then we have the Devil, heart of Capricorn. But I want you to look at this image. This is the Lovers. And the Devil casts an illusion that they can't be together. It's almost like the Devil tries to come in between. Maybe I should use the word shadow. But I want to remind you that that is an illusion. For some of you, I feel like it's a Capricorn. All right, let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. The Three of Cups. Rejoice in celebration. Beautiful. Look at that. The Fool under that. Oh, and look at this. The Magician. The Fool. And then the Three of Cups. We are in the year of the Magician now. We're asked to take on the Fool's energy. And it's telling us that by doing this alone, the Fool, a new beginning, a leap of faith. The past is in the past. Doesn't mean I don't remember the past, but I've extracted the wisdom. And when I think about the past now, it doesn't have an effect on me. It doesn't hurt. You know what I mean? Like I can talk about it and I don't feel the pain anymore. Magician. Infinity. As above, so below. Wow, with the wheel. Okay. I just want to look at the numbers real quick. So we have a change. We definitely had some reflection. We had the avoidance of a tower. We had the beginning of love, whether it be something that's coming back around. But if it is coming back around, it is of a higher vibration. If it's not, I feel like you'll know it immediately. That's why the High Priestess is first. And you're so good at reading energy, anyways. I feel like it's something, came in, like someone came in and had bad intentions, you'd pick it up immediately. You'd probably pick it up before they even entered the room. And you want to trust in that first instinct. Especially around love, because I would have to say love scares people more than many things. But again, here you are with this inner fulfillment and a wish about to be granted, probably two or more, because the knight is bringing in a pentacle. Mother Mary is saying there's going to be a miracle. The wheel is your destiny. Okay, let's bring in the crystal vision and let's go deeper. Deeper if we dare, but we dare. We dare. By the way, if you're falling in love in January, I have a feeling it will be for the rest of your life. Because I don't feel like the Knight of Pentacles would show. Again, just know when the Knight of Pentacles is in a reading, it means it's time. Its time has come. And I love you being in the present moment energy, just like the Fool. And you're just trusting destiny. And I feel like that's the best course of action. You're probably doing your thing in the Three of Wands, creatively, whatever it may be, laughing, dancing, singing, whatever it may be. And I feel like this ace, I just feel like it's going to surprise you. Um, but for many, I feel like, I just feel like you're in a good mood. You're in a good mood through the month of January. Or, yeah, January. But this is just the beginning. Okay. Hello, Judgment, your spiritual team, calling you to the present moment. I love this because this is where our guides really speak to us through our intuition. I mean, they will send us signs, songs. It might be why I said some of you are listening to music or singing. Like a song might just pop up in your head. And if it does, think about it. Like what the lyrics say. Could be a message. So Judgment talks about a rebirth. Wow, that's because your wheel is spinning. But I think that's beautiful that your spiritual team came out right away over your intuition, over your GPS. And when they say there's about to be a rebirth, wow, it's just part of your destiny anyway. And even the Nine of Cups, remember, it is inner fulfillment, but it's also fulfillment of wishes. We have the moon. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. The moon, card of Pisces, ruler of Cancer. The moon can certainly speak of uncertainties. I get this feeling for a few that if I've been waiting for someone to make a move, let's say, or to declare their love, but yet they don't, I feel like then you're moving on. I don't feel like you're interested in uncertainties as it relates to love. I'm not saying that you need to know, like, is this going to be my forever person? Because, that takes a little time to kind of unveil itself. I feel like as it relates to love, you want it to be dreamy. And if it's not, then I feel like then it's not for you. Okay? Look at this, the Three of Wands again. Now right over the King. And again, male or female. Remember that. And I say that because we have both men and women who watch the reading. So just know that. But now we have like-minded energy. It's like this king is also trusting in his intuition. I feel like this king put intentions out there for love. And just like you, not any old love. But I feel like both of you, probably unbeknownst to each other, like you put the intention out there, but then you go about your day. You do your thing, right? And Three of Wands means you're trusting in divine. And that really is what you want to do because, love coming in before it's time. Or let's say you're still in the Five of Swords. Well, that just makes it a whole lot more difficult. And I feel like that's why the Knight of Pentacles is here, saying, I come at the right time. When is the right time? After that change. It's just literally you not accepting lower vibrational energy. People who say things that hurt, you know what I mean? Like on purpose. People who lie. Can't take it anymore. As a Virgo myself, boy, that's one thing. Like, if you lie to me, Good luck with me trusting you again. Not that it's impossible, but good luck. We have the Death card. Card of Scorpio. That means a door has closed. Well, chances are that was the Tower. But the Death card is a rebirth. So what the Death card tells you is, this is something we just have to get used to. Things do come to completion. And it doesn't mean it's the end, right? It just is the beginning for something new. Because when you see the Death card, you know that a new door is opening up. Well, what lies behind that new door? The Ace of Cups. So you've two energies that speak about a rebirth. Now, could that be because there's two people? Four of Cups. Interesting. Four Cups. Discontentment, boredom within one's emotional life. Four Cups, the meaning of it is learning to use your spiritual discernment. Because the truth of the Four Cups is there is a cup coming in. Well, we already have it. So I feel like it is your guides helping you connect. You can't see it in this image, but normally you'll see like a cup coming from the hand of divine. It's coming over the Nine of Cups, which is interesting because some of you may have been single for a little while. And I don't feel like I'm complaining about it, but you may start feeling like that call of love. I definitely feel the king is feeling it. And now I feel you may feel it. And we already have the cup. And we know because the death card is over it, it's going to change your life. It is a rebirth. Boy, it makes me think of past lives also. Especially with the wheel here. We have the Queen of Swords. Can be Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. But this queen, integrity, truth. This queen is not afraid to use the sword to cut ties. And I feel like this is you. And I feel like it's talking about some bold actions you took, maybe in 2025, which is really allowing you to start fresh in this year one. So I do feel like that is you. And boy, I do feel like you're hearing the same call. I feel like judgment is saying when you live in your own truth, then whatever enters, well, it's going to be of the same vibration. Seven of Pentacles, which to me is very much like your will, your destiny. Because to me, this is your tree of life. And these seeds that have been planted, I have a feeling some were pre-planted, like planted before you came into this lifetime. And again, we're talking love here. It's coming over the Ace of Swords. You know, the Seven of Pentacles does ask for patience first. And you do have two cards that are asking for patience. But I feel like that time has, like, I've been patient. And I know that a seed is coming to fruition because that is what this night brings. But again, predestined. Like, I just feel like it is its time. I feel like the people who are falling in love are ready. You know, think of this like your garden, because this is a reminder to always be planting seeds. If we plant no seeds, we have no harvest. So plant those seeds. And the time for patience, I feel like, is coming to an end. Because whatever seeds are now ready to blossom, they will. Coming over the Ace of Swords, it's almost like I had to be truthful with myself. I had to really evaluate myself, not in a judgmental way, but so that I could really live the best life possible for me. You know, this Five of Swords with the Knight of Pentacles, that is one thing I feel like this night was waiting for. The end of that toxic energy, the no longer accepting it. Again, not shrinking to meet someone else's energy. Don't do that. You know, it's interesting because I'm thinking of the Seven of Pentacles again as seeds, and the moon is above it. So normally when you plant a seed, what do you want? You want the sun. You want you want to water these seeds, but the moon kind of feels like in that tower energy, maybe it just wasn't meant to be. So that seed didn't get nurtured, but I have a feeling it wasn't meant to. And that could have been like a free will choice that just didn't turn out. You know what I mean? Like it didn't go the way I'd hoped. And I don't really feel like you are, and I guess it's probably not for everyone, but I don't really feel like a state of sadness. I feel like that would be yesterday's news. And it doesn't mean like, you're completely healed. You are, even though I do feel that you're feeling better than you have in a long time. And maybe I'm talking spiritually. All right, keep going. Seven, by the way, is a spiritual number. Look at that. King Cups in reverse. Over the Five of Swords. Well, let me tell you something. King of Cups in reverse is not good. This is where the toxicity was. King of Cups in reverse has no problem showing other people their emotions or, you know, like I hate to say it, but like, well, not even loving others. I just feel like flirt. Like I can't trust this person. Why can't they show me the same emotions they show everyone else? But it is coming over the toxic energy, and it makes sense. So, goodbye to that king. Goodbye to you. Goodbye, king. Interesting because this king could be someone that you previously had been tempted to, maybe over and over again. And, I do feel like you probably gave them plenty of chances, plenty of opportunities. But I can't see Virgo accepting this energy very long. It reminds me of my ex-husband. I say that all the time with the king in reverse. That is my ex-husband's energy. And he was a cheater from the get-go. But guess what? It's not affecting you anymore. This is you healing. This is you healing. And it's coming over the Nine of Wands. So the reflection also helps you heal. The Death card above it, we know now what door wants to close. Don't forget, that means a new door is opening. And it is the Ace of Cups. This is beautiful because you're not, I'm not going to say again that you're completely healed. But if the Knight of Pentacles is ready to come in, then you're ready. All right, we have the Six of Pentacles. Oh my God. Hello, lovers. Right over the wheel. Mirroring Judgment, your spiritual team. Right before it, let's talk about this first, is the Six of Pentacles. And I often feel this is about learning or knowing that you deserve to receive as well as give. Us Virgos, we do like to fix, right? Like, I'll fix that. I'll fix that. Then we learn. Wait a minute. I can't fix everyone. Some people, I'm tired of trying to fix. This is your compassion and your empathy. And you shouldn't apologize for that. But it is learning that fine art of give and take, right? You deserve to receive as well as give. But I feel like you are being acknowledged for what you do give. Now, let's talk about the Lovers. Chemistry. Undeniable. Just look at the imagery around it, the colors, passion. This is love. This is love. Now, the meaning of the card is a head over heart decision, and I'm sure that's going to apply. But the chemistry is just undeniable. How do I love that it's coming over the wheel? Past lies? Probably. Because if it sits upon your wheel, then you're soul connected. And that means chances are you have had past lives. But you know what? It's not about your past life. It's about right now. Right now. We may as well keep going since we have the Lovers. Look at that. The Lovers over your wheel, over your destiny, with your spiritual team telling you, we're guiding this towards you. And it is through your intuition. That just means to me, like, I know I say this story all the time, but like, maybe you go like to work the same way every day. You stop at the same place to get your coffee every day, right? The same routine. But then one day, something makes you make a different choice. You go somewhere where you wouldn't normally go. And lo and behold, in that same line that you're in, is someone either before you or after you. and a conversation strikes up. It's what I call being at the right place at the right time, but being led by spirit. And I could just imagine, like in my mind's eye, what I just saw were your spirit guides, like just celebrating you and them, celebrating the fact that you found each other. Like, yes, yes, they didn't let anything get in the way. All right. You know, that Three of Cups is a hint of what's to come. And that is about rejoicing. Excuse me, about rejoicing in celebration. It is the energy of joy. And I love that we not only have joy, we have gratitude, we have openness. And now we have the King of Swords. Sitting right next to the Lovers can certainly be Gemini. I don't know if I said the Lovers is also a card of Gemini. We do have the Queen of Swords. So we do have like minded energy. And again, don't worry about the signs. And here's why. I love that this king just came over the Ace of Swords. Because this king in the upright is about truth, speaks the truth, does have integrity. And I have a feeling that's important for both, not just you, but also for them, right? I don't feel like they're interested in, dealing with toxic energy either. And the Lovers is connecting the Queen and the King. And I just realized this King is also coming over the Knight of Pentacles. We have the Nine of Wands. Wow. Interesting. So the Nine of Wands in reverse, over the King of Cups in reverse, and also over the Devil. That is clear. This is someone who does not want to make changes. This is someone who has no interest in reflecting upon their life and their own actions. They probably would say, what do I do wrong? You do a lot wrong as it relates to love. Everyone has free will, and they do have a right to live life the way they want. But I feel like there's going to be karma to pay for this person because let's just put it this way. I don't feel like you're the first one they hurt, and I don't think you're going to be the last one. But here's the thing. I don't think you're going to be worrying about that at all. At all. Let karma deal with them because they are creating karma. By the way, in the Six of Pentacles, your compassion and your empathy for your fellow man and woman, you are also creating karma, but good karma. They're creating bad karma. But so be it. We tried to help you. You wanted to do it your way. Goodbye to you. Goodbye to you. We have the Eight of Cups. the Six of Wands, and how about that? The Eight of Wands. Interesting. So, two eights, Eight of Cups, walking away. But you're seeking emotional clarity in that energy. Well, in the Nine of Cups, that's what you're finding. And again, when I say, the Nine of Cups is the energy of really enjoying life. But in no way does it mean that everything is perfect. Because I do feel like with the Four of Cups over it, some really do want that cup. And here is that cup. Right? But first, this walking away from, well, what feels like a cheater's energy anyway. And then you having victory and success. And not just that, then the Eight of Wands. What I think about, I bring about. What I think about, I bring about. Wow. It's under or over the Three of Wands, optimism, present moment energy. And it's mirroring the Nine of Cups with the Four of Cups. So some of you, that is what you're thinking about. A cup. And it manifests. It's already manifested. I feel like this may have been one of the most important energies. Walking away from, let's just say, emotional instability. I'm no longer willing to fix. I'm no longer willing to lower my vibration to try to make something work. Done. This is a new beginning. And this is you allowing that new beginning. Even if it feels difficult at first, I feel like very quickly you move into that Nine of Cups. And that Nine of Cups really is freedom. It's freedom to be who you are. Pay attention to your intuition. Your intuition is guiding you towards a love that's already written. If you're dealing with this king, I can't. That has to be your choice of whether you stay or go. But again, the devil down here, the temptation. So I have a feeling this person was probably very charming. But I don't feel like it lasted. Like someone who knows the right things to say, and then you get caught in their hook, and it's like boom. And now it's like, I got you. Okay. That quest was done. Well, you're nobody's quest. You're someone's prize. All right. What do I want to look at? And then we'll bring out the romance angels. Look at the lovers. That's sitting over the wheel. That's mirrored by your spiritual team. It's telling you that your intuition is going to pick this up. So let's see if there's anything else that wants to come out. Three of Pentacles. I love this energy and love. This is all about being your authentic self. And I love this image because I feel like someone is recognizing you. But they're recognizing you in this, what feels like new energy. This is really you just doing your thing, creating, whatever it may be. But the message is to be your authentic self. Because whoever is falling in love with you, that is what they're going to love. No mask, no facades. Be you, and they will be them. And this is saying that both of you, and usually you'll see the lovers naked. And that is learning, to me anyway, it's about learning to be one's authentic self without excuses, right? I am who I am, like, and saying that, like, you should be proud of that. So I love this because this is saying that you are going to be loved for exactly who you are. Like, you don't have to worry about that. Some may say, well, I don't know. I'm getting old. Who's going to love me? Well, let me tell you, first of all, this type of love, it's not about the way one looks. It's about their energy. That's what is felt first. The energy. And my God, Virgo, it is showing like the work that you've done to reach this state. It's like enlightenment. And therefore, whoever's coming in must also be enlightened. All right, let's bring in the romance angels. Something made me look at the bottom of the deck. We had the Emperor, Clarifiers. But the meaning of this card, first of all, it could be a father figure. But this is someone that you can look up to. This is someone who's got compassion and empathy. This is a seed planter. And I felt that right from the get-go, that this king also planted that seed. This king is also listening to their intuition. They may not know why yet. All right, let's bring out the romance angels. I have to say, the difference between love, and I know in my own experiences, I've dealt with the King of Cups in reverse. I've dealt with many, you know. Um, but now I have found a love that truly lets me be me. You know what I mean? Like, I feel very comfortable being in my authentic skin. And it is different than any love I've had before. And I'm saying that because I feel that for you. This is definitely of a higher vibration. But I know a lot of you had been clearing old energy. And I feel the excitement for this new year. It's almost like goodbye 2025. Trust. The situation is calling for you to have faith. Trust. Mother Mary, miracles. And that's kind of what you're doing in the Three of Wands. Well, there's that chemistry. There it is. There's a strong magnetic attraction here, no doubt. And that's exactly what I meant, where it doesn't matter your age, what you look like, even your income, that type of stuff. Like, this is just attraction like no other. All right, let's see if anything. Whoa. I was going to say anything else wants to come out. Getting to know you. This is probably why we had the Ace of Swords. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. And I love this image. This man is trying to woo over this woman. She's enjoying every moment of it. The child, like listening to every word he has to say. You got to get through me to get to my mother. Very intuitive. Some of you may have a very intuitive child. Interesting. I'm picking that up. Healing family issues. Your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. Interesting. Some of you, you may have had to go way back. I know I did. And even clear like the childhood traumas. But forgiveness. I never feel like you have to pick up a phone. And for some of you, I feel like maybe for some, a parent may not be here. They may have crossed over already. But you can still forgive. I do it all the time. Like, I'll say something about my mom that isn't so great, and then I always say, I'm sorry, Mom. And she's crossed over. So, trust. The situation is calling for you to have faith. It's exactly what is happening here on the table. The chemistry. I know it's the lovers. I know it's the Ace of Cups. And it all sits on your wheel. This rebirth, it's happening. And it's happening soon. Because you are being called to the present moment. This is something not only are you going to celebrate, but your spiritual team is going to celebrate. Like, we got them together. We got them together. And then the rest is really up to you. But your guides are like, we did it. And honestly, I feel like once you connect, this is your person. This is your person. And I do want to remind you that I do feel like there are some existing relationships that maybe have had like some hiccups. I don't feel like someone who cheated because I don't know. Like, I don't feel that. I feel like if it's a relationship that can be saved, then I feel there's honest communication. Matter of fact, I feel like that's the only way. Like, we have to be honest with each other. But then others, like, hang on to your hat, baby. Hang on to your hat. Not only do you want this everlasting love, so does the other. This isn't about having to talk someone into something. You're going to meet, you're going to feel it. It's interesting because I started a new series on my podcast where I don't know, like yesterday, I told a random love story, but I didn't upload it yet. And boy, does it feel like this. It feels like this reading. That means I have to upload it. I have to upload it. And what did I call it? What did I call it? I forget what I called it, what I titled it. But anyways, you'll see it when it comes out. By the way, if you feel like you're missing notifications, that little bell beside subscribe, because only 18% have it like fully on. And I get a lot of messages of like, why do I never see your notifications? That's why it has to be 100% on. It doesn't mean you won't ever get a notification, but you won't get all of them. And maybe some that's what you want, which is fine, like whatever you want. But anyway, all right, let's move into your money. By the way, this miracle or miracles, I don't feel like it's just love. But what a love reading. Of course, I would expect nothing less from you. Sam and I did another podcast that I'm also going to be releasing soon. Okay. So we are now going to go into money, and I am changing decks. Trying to, anyway. I'm going to use the Light Seers and the Gilded Tarot. Let me just put these away. Money, 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 money. It's like I already have goosebumps again. Wow. I got them right before your love reading, and now I'm getting before your money. That tells me that this is going to be good too. All right, let's give him a shuffle, a cut, and let's get into it. Let me grab a drink real quick. Oh, put it way over there. Okay. Money. Page of Wands. The star, though it did show in reverse. Page of Wands, I call my risk taker. There's that Emperor. I'm going to try to get the cards out before I talk. Though I always say that. Page of Swords. I kind of love the Page of Swords next to the Emperor. I'll tell you why in a second. By the way, even though the star is in reverse, I feel like we can turn that star around. Look at this. Four of Wands. Interesting. That is the marriage card. How interesting that we saw the Emperor in love just for a second. And now the Emperor comes out in your money sector. And also the marriage card. Three of Wands. Beautiful. Ace of Wands. Five of Cups. Four of Pentacles. And the Two of Swords. Okay. And we might as well just see what's on the bottom while we're here. The Hangman. And you know what? It makes sense that the Hangman is there. Six of Cups underneath them. Nostalgia. The first thing I'm feeling is I feel like Many of you had a dream or have a dream. Shouldn't have said had, you have a dream. Potentially owning your own business. And the Page of Pentacles, or I'm sorry, the Page of Swords, like you can literally see she's reading a book. And from this book, all these ideas are coming to her. Now, I don't feel like you have to be reading a book. I just feel like it's naturally, these are like epiphanies and ideas that potentially you would like to create something with. I feel like also with the Four of Wands in your money, it's talking about dedicating yourself to your craft. You know, the willingness to put in whatever. Well, I already know you will. I feel like the only issue with the star in reverse, I feel like it's more timing. Is it time? I definitely feel many of you have these ideas, these epiphanies, and some of you may have already started something. Um, this makes me feel like self-employment. And it doesn't have to be, but boy, do I feel that. It's interesting, we have the Two of Swords, which is a blindfold. Someone wearing a blindfold, which can actually, people say, can a blessing be blocked? It can be. It can be. So it is mirroring really the opposite energy. And again, it's trusting. It's trusting within the spiritual world. It's trusting within your own abilities. And I do feel like it's saying, take a chance. Take a chance on you. And I love the Ace of Swords under the star. Even though it's in reverse, I feel like this is you being authentic. This is you doing something that feels very authentic to you. And it doesn't matter if other people do the same thing. It's saying, stay with your style. Like your authentic self is being called into action. I feel for a few where you might have had a block in your money could have been related to like love that didn't go well, someone not believing in you. And maybe this is really about learning to believe in yourself, even if other people don't believe in you. The hangman on the bottom of the deck, it makes sense with the star reversed. Hangman is seeking spiritual wisdom to use on this physical plane. Page of Wands, I feel like you're receiving it. And, the Page of Wands to me is a risk taker. And I feel like that's what it's asking you to do, but a calculated risk. This is beautiful energy of working from home and having the support around you. And what I mean by that is there's no naysayers. Like, what are you doing? Don't worry about it. Like, I don't feel that. It's interesting because I feel like for some of you, you went through something emotional and it wasn't easy. But I feel like what you've done, and this is something I always advise, maybe you listened. I feel like what you did is you took that pain, that hurt, and you refocused it into your creativity. And boy, do I feel like it's paying off for you now. So I feel like you have the ability to create true success for yourself. And it is your ideas, your epiphanies, but you want to be dedicated to it at the same time. I feel like that's what the Four of Wands is talking about here, right? The commitment that you make to yourself, but also your business. And I don't know why, but I feel like 80% of you have your own business or have your own baby, and it could be like a side hustle, something you do at night. And I've been saying that a lot in the readings, like something I did, that piqued my interest, but I still had to work for the man or woman. But then I feel like the opportunity shows itself where you you have what it takes to create a truly successful business. I do feel like some of you may be working from home, and I feel some of you have just been asking, when is the right time for me to present what I do? Well, number one, you want to feel comfortable, but in the same breath, don't wait for comfort. You know what I mean? Because I feel like taking a chance is more important. I do feel like believe in yourself. No, I feel like what our spirit team is saying is once you begin, the right people will find you. And that could have been something that made you pause for a while. Like, how do I know anybody will, let's say I wrote a book. How do I know anybody will buy it? You guys are like, just write the book and trust us. People will buy it. Especially if you are talking about your own experiences. But then again, as I say that, I feel like I do feel like someone's writing a book. And I don't feel like it's about your experiences. I feel like it's a story. Like a story, a creative story that you created. That didn't sound right. You know what else is interesting? Is although I feel the Emperor is really a business owner, like I feel like it's you as a business owner, I also want to say, or I want to add to that, for some, and I may have already said this, but for some, I do feel like there was just someone who didn't believe in you, or let's just say that you had been dealing with these emotional issues and it didn't really give you the opportunity to live your dreams. Well, now is the time. Especially if you cleared that energy, because this five change, right? But it's an emotional change. And there are two cups within that five of cups, and the Emperor is right above it. So, is he also a soulmate? I have a feeling. I have a feeling he's a soulmate from our love reading. But I also feel, let's just say, if this is not your business, this is someone who's very supportive of you and could even give you ideas. Or let me put it a different way, they could be very inspiring to you. But this is someone who would definitely build you up. Say, go do it. Do it, Virgo. Do it. Trust in yourself. All right, let's bring in the Gilded Tarot. I'm going to slide this up a little bit. Okay. Gilded Tarot. I feel like your ideas, epiphanies, I feel like they are flowing like water. Something is just telling me that this year is about you becoming successful with whatever you choose to do. But I feel like there's like certain fields But it's your field, like your field of expertise. And although you may not be an expert yet, you will be. You may be starting as the page, but it is beginning. And then again, all those ideas and epiphanies. So I feel like as I keep moving forward, I keep getting new ideas, new epiphanies, new ways to work things out. That Ace of Swords, it literally looks like you're connecting to above. The Six of Pentacles. So give and take, compassion and empathy. But for some of you, that's what you're doing. You're doing something where you're helping others. You're helping others like a hand up. Kind of like what the Emperor does. This is you being recognized for who you are. This is not about giving and receiving any longer, because I feel like that lesson, it's learned. This is now, I feel like you being your authentic self. And I definitely feel like you know the difference now of a hand out or a hand up. Eight of Pentacles right over the star. And then, hello, Magician. Year one. Here we go. Over the Emperor. What the hell is that noise? I don't know what that noise was. Interesting. What the hell was that noise? It sounded like my guitar started playing. I think our guides are with us. I think they want you to see this. This is everything you've been learning. The magician is a great mentor. And that's what many of you may be becoming, like a mentor to others. You can see that big infinity sign, right? Number 8, new beginning. But as above, so below. Some of you, it's just your natural talents. Now, I got to go back one card because it is coming over the reversal of the star. Your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. So this kind of answers why it's in reverse. It's not stopping your dreams. I feel like what it's saying, well, the meaning of the card is the willingness to go into something as the apprentice, but knowing that if you focus on it, you will be the master teacher. You will be great in your field. You just have to trust yourself. And also, I feel like this is the energy of learning as you go. So you have the wisdom you have now, right? But there's more that's going to open up for you. But this is action oriented. So as you're in it, more and more reveals itself. Why? Because you're willing to put in the work. And I love the Ace of Swords right below because, boy, do I feel like that is you connecting to your spiritual team. It's like some of you, like becoming a psychic. But if that's the case, you've always had that within you. And now you're trusting it. I definitely feel many of you are in some way helping others. And chances are you are using your experiences. But that's just the beginning of it. And when I say your experiences, I mean your wisdom. The wisdom you've gained due to the experiences. I do feel like you really had to learn to trust in your own abilities. And, eventually you do need to put it out there. But if you do, or when you do, your guides are saying, we're going to make sure that the right people, right, the right clients, that they find you. Again, magic, miracle. Last year has been about reflection. Many of you have been laying the groundwork. And this year is about the action. The Chariot, unlimited potential, unlimited. Card of Cancer also. But I want to remind you that the Chariot is driven by your intentions. You believe in yourself, it's unlimited potential. It does require balance, but I feel like you have it. And I feel like this is really just your guide saying, like, we know you have unlimited potential. You just need to know that. Eight of Wands, want to think about it, bring about. Also, fast moving energy. Interesting, because I feel like what this is saying is things are going to start speeding up. Let's say you have an existing business, but it kind of has hit like it's stalled out. Well, it's going to pick back up now. Could have been due to the holidays, but something just feels like it's right timing, to be honest. And then we have the Page of Wands again. Page of Wands, Page of Wands. Over the Three of Wands. My risk taker. In the energy of gratitude. Present moment. This Ace of Swords, I'm telling you, it's like receiving epiphanies out of nowhere. But these epiphanies literally is what becomes your business. Now, let's say you're working for someone. You work for a company. And if you're happy there, then I feel like what this is saying is your money's going to increase. The Chariot feels like it's lifting you like a promotion. You may have to ask, but I feel like if you ask, it'll be given. But I want you to think about that too. Like, if you're at work and you do nothing, this is for those that I feel like are giving, I'm not going to say everything, but a lot of themselves. With 2 pages of wands there, this feels like energy, definitely of taking a chance, but taking a chance on you. And it is kind of letting go of control, right? It's like when I do a reading, I release the reading and I just have to trust that it's going to reach the people who need it. And I do trust that now. And that's kind of what I'm feeling here. Like you do your thing, you release it, and then the universe is going to pick it up. If anybody's been questioning when is the right time for me to begin something, it's now. It's now. We have the Eight of Cups. Well, Look at that, 2 8s, 88. All of a sudden, my phone is ringing up the hook. Look at that, 3 8s now. 888. You know what? Eights really are about mastering the material world. There could be a few of you who have either a personal year 8 or a life path 8. And if that's the case, it really is about mastering the material world. No excuses for it. But now with the strength card, card of Leo, but it's coming over the 5 of Cups. And with the 8 of Cups right before it, I feel like this is where, like, the confusion of whether I begin or I don't. I feel like it goes back to, again, maybe naysayers. But the ticket is you had to believe in yourself. No matter what anybody else says. If it feels right to you, trust that. Like, it is your ideas and your epiphanies that are raising you up. Ace of Swords again. Your truth, your voice. Some of you, your voice is important here. Your truth is important here. Some of you are working from home. And then the 6 of Swords. Moving on, some of you may have left a job. But if you did, it wasn't serving you anyway. You weren't happy. You know, some of you know that's been the question. Do I take a chance on myself? Do I move away from what I've been used to? You know, coming over the 2 of Swords, it does put hesitation there. It does make it a little uncertain. But I feel like your gut is telling you it's time to move on. And it doesn't have to be a physical move. But it is you saying, I'm just not accepting toxic energy. That door is closed. That door is closed. All right, let's go right below it. It feels like your money wants to flow. And it really feels like there's nothing stopping it. The only thing that could stop it would be you not trusting in yourself. The world. Look at this, the next chapter. So something has come to completion. Well, that's got to be the 6 of Swords, the 5 of Cups. But this is, this is the foal in the middle of the portal. And to me, the world is a very spiritual energy. And I feel like whatever I'm doing in this energy, once something has come to completion, whatever is starting, I feel like is for the rest of my life. Look what flipped itself around. The Star. And she's naked. Being your authentic self. Why did it flip itself around? This. Emotional clarity. This is you heading towards the 9 of Cups, which we saw in your love reading, so we know you reach it. This literally is what flips the star around. So, naysayers, those who didn't want to build you up, even if these are people you worked with, some of you, I do feel like you may be leaving a job, but I don't feel like you're leaving it like nilly-willy. I feel like for a lot of you, you've already laid the groundwork, but you just didn't know when the perfect time was. This is the perfect time. How beautiful that the star is connected to the world. So this is your next chapter. And now the star in the upright. Miracle. The star. And by the way, the star is your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. But it's about manifesting them. You know, we can have all the hopes and dreams and wishes we want, but we want to manifest them at the same time. All right, the death card. Closing of a door. We also had this in your love reading, but it is a rebirth, right? Again, one door closes, another door opens. This door feels like it needed to close because it's coming over the Five of Cups and below the Strength card. So something you've overcome, but then literally, that's what opens up the next door. Beautiful. The Empress. Interesting, we have the Emperor and the Empress together. They're not together, but they're in the same reading. This is creative energy. This is giving birth to your ideas. You know, when you think about the Empress, because we just finished a 9-year cycle, and literally, whatever seeds we plant this year are going to be with us for at least the next decade. The Empress knows that. This is your creativity. This is empathy, compassion, loving, nurturing, powerful, strong. Someone who trusts in her intuition above all. Then we have the King of Pentacles. And then there's that Five of Swords. So how interesting the Five of Swords is connected to the Six of Swords. Sorry, King of Pentacles, but it doesn't feel like this king is of a helping hand. I feel like with the world mirroring the Five of Swords, well, that definitely wants to come to completion. You know, what else I feel is for some of you, like if you work for a company, I feel like you have more knowledge than the manager, than whoever runs the company. I feel like you know more. And if you're not being appreciated, then I do feel like you could take that wisdom and start like your own company. And that person is going to regret losing you. But listen, you know, sometimes it's just too late. Like, too late. I feel like some of you work for a company where I feel like they just don't pay much. Like they don't pay what their employees deserve. And therefore it makes it very hard to make a living. And that may be why I felt some of you like those side hustles. But then those side hustles becoming your main gig. You know, I love this line, except for this over here. But the world with the Empress That's beautiful. The star has flipped itself around. This is really telling you that this energy is unlimited. It's where you want to take it. It's what you're thinking about. And what it's saying is as long as you're willing to put the dedication into it, then success will be yours. Like these new beginnings, they're only meant to lift you up. But again, the wisdom that you already carry. And literally, I just feel like I'm like, and you probably went through this in 2025, like, I'm tired of working for a company that is paying me nothing. So whether you're out putting resumes and you find a new job, but I do feel for a lot of you, you're doing your own thing. Some of you may have had writer's block, so to speak, but that's being lifted. Everything wants to flow. And again, you are like eliminating lower vibrational energy, not just in love, but also in your career, in your creativity. And there is no one more creative than the Empress. And this is you. And the Empress is mirroring the Chariot. And the Chariot is moving due to the epiphanies and the ideas that you're receiving. Some of you, these are talents that you've always had. These are interests that you've always had. And maybe for whatever reason, they were stifled. But not any longer. Not any longer, if you so choose. I just realized you have more than 3 8s. You have like 5 8s. So, new beginnings is the name of the game. But these new beginnings are really fantastic new beginnings. It all starts with you. It may start from a small idea that turns into everything. I feel like you're just not taking any more bullshit. You know what the wisdom you possess. You know the abilities that you possess. Okay, I want to go right across the middle. If you notice, it's not really telling you like what you should do, other than for some of you, definitely self-employment. But that's for those who've already been thinking that, and maybe you just didn't know when the right time was. Again, this is the time. So I want to make that clear. And for others, I feel like, if you're not being paid your worth, I don't know. I feel like then you're moving on. We have the 3 of Cups. Okay. Same thing we had in your love. So a reason to celebrate. I feel like don't forget to celebrate yourself. Don't forget to celebrate each accomplishment, each step, because each step will lead to the next step. We have the King of Swords. Look at that. And the 3 of Pentacles again. Your creative energy. Being your authentic self, creating from your authentic self. Whether you work for a company or you work for yourself, this is a reminder to be your authentic self, that what you bring to the table holds true value. And this isn't just about you being your authentic self. This is you being appreciated for who you are and what you bring to the table. So if you didn't have it before, but then you make some changes, like some of you are just saying enough is enough. And maybe you put resumes out there. I feel like someone will call you. Boy, do I feel a lot of business ownership here. I just do. And I feel like the main thing was about, is it the right time? Can I truly be successful? And the answer is yes, yes, yes. Believe in yourself. As long as you focus on it, not only will it grow, but it's going to blossom. I love that the star flipped itself around. And it's telling you why it flipped itself around. Emotional issues, goodbye. This is a strong reading, Virgo. Like, boy, do I feel like, all the things that I kept giving you guys over, the 9-year cycle and the beginning of year one. And I know I probably gave you too much, but boy, do I feel like you were listening. I just want to, I'm going to bring the hangman down here for a second. And I just want to look at the hangman. Even though I do know the hangman is seeking wisdom. We have the page of swords. I feel like there is a talent and it has something to do with your voice, whether you sing, speak, but you could write. You know what I mean? Like, again, the page of or the page of swords, your ideas, your epiphanies. But I do feel that some of you have had these, not just dreams, but these talents. And sometimes you don't realize that until you step into it. Because I feel like you're going to be surprised at how fast you grow. You're going to be surprised. And literally, if your question was, when is the right time? Really, for anything, the timing is now. The timing is now. And I'm going to let that be. I'm going to let that be. Let's just put it this way. This is about whatever your hopes and dreams are. Yes, the collective, but also individually. What are you dreaming about? What do you want your life to look like? What do you want to manifest? Do you know that you can? Do you know that it is time? And you're not walking this alone. Like, I feel like as you start moving into this energy, it's like your guides are right there, sending you signs, helping to guide you towards the highest goal possible. This isn't about limiting oneself. This is about your unlimited potential. Know that. Put those intentions out there and watch them come back. I love you guys. I thank you. I will. Oh, Happy New Year, by the way. I keep forgetting to say that. Happy New Year, Virgo. Your reading just looks fantastic. I have to say, the majority of January's readings have been off the chart, and yours is off the chart. Off the chart with potential, off the chart with love, like everything. And and you should give yourself a pat on the back. Because I am telling you, I saw your guides celebrating you and joyful celebration. I love you. I thank you. See you next time at our table. Bye bye.